when you're climbing, get somebody below who's with you to blow a whistle, at which point you have to freeze. That's really good exercise.
Interesting.
Another one is when you're on 2 footholds, somebody can whistle again and you can swap feet. So swapping feet makes you really notice in what way you're going to fall off, and you have to reposition really quickly. And if you can do that really quickly, you'll speed up your working out what to do a great deal. Another thing you can do, I mean, you've got to be careful what sort of rock you do it on, because you can cause damage. But climbing in the rain is really good.
Wow. Okay. Without your hands?
On granite or something like that. I mean, you've got to be careful, because if you fall on granite in the rain and you skid, you really could absolutely grind yourself down to the bone.
Yeah. If
you can find the right scenario, climbing in the damp will bring you on a lot. And say, finding a foothold, say you've got a good foothold and then a really poor foothold that doesn't quite work, and another good foothold, try and use that shit foothold to get the next position, and that will bring you on as well. That's basically trains you in the ollie element of climbing.
And these are all hands-free things to practice, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And always, you move your head around, and that makes the 3D surface of the rock pop out, and you can see then where you would land a little helicopter. It's something that I've got on the original No Hands Climbing video I made with my friend Wayne Sharrox. But you move your head around, you think, oh yeah, I'll land, and I'll come into land like that. And what you do is you hit the hold and you bounce back out. And as you bounce back out, you draw light out of it. And at that point, you can see how you need to bring your foot into land. And then you use that foothold at 90 degrees. And if you shake your foot right, then you get every single move gripped up nicely. And then it just becomes a case of how the 2 holes work together. And that's got, I can't give you all my secrets, but that's where the real stuff starts.
Johnny, what do you think is what's the hardest thing you've climbed without using your hands?
Probably, I did the rainbow slab by a route called Cystitis by Proxy in Split Street on the slate. That's a very hard one. I managed to walk up and E8 at the Roaches, called Obsession Fatale, but actually it's very nearly a no hands route anyway, so it's not actually as hard as you imagine, but it's the most spray worthy because it's given E8.
Okay.
But the hardest one is a high neb, and it's called Footwork F1, which is a Formula One team that were really quite good but never had any money. And this particular one, you've got 3 moves in a row, which you have to get the movement right for each to unlock the third. So every time, if you haven't got enough grip, it gets a -1. If you can't see the hold, it gets a -1. And if you need to do one move to do the next move, it gets a -1. And that particular route has got -4. So when you try and climb it, there's 4 things that make it really hard, all in a row. So that's probably the hardest one. And it's on a small lens of slab down and left of a roof crack called Jeepers Creepers. And it's very nondescript. And that's the amazing thing, it's next to, it's actually a new route, but it's so, if you were climbing with your hands, well, you'd have holds here. But if you do it no hands, then the array, it's a brilliant new route. I mean, on Stanage, I've done 188 routes, like no hands. There's 800 routes there. So
wow.
One in 7 routes is a walk.
Hey friends, I'm interrupting my own video because I have to tell you about Rumple. I am cozied up in the Sherpa Puffy blanket from Rumple right now. It is the coziest thing I own. I'm in love with this thing. It's getting cold, it's fall, we're heading into winter, and I've been obsessed with my Rumple blanket. Right now is the perfect time to stock up on Rumple gear and grab your gifts for the holidays. Rumple's Not Home for the Holidays sale is live right now with 25% off almost everything on the site. Plus, they're doing a free gift with all qualifying orders from Black Friday through Cyber Monday. So give the gift of coziness this season by shopping at Rumple. Go to rumple.com/nugget to get 25% off almost everything during their holiday sale. The sale goes from November 14th to December 4th. So it is live right now. You've still got time to pick up a cozy gift for a loved one. One more time, that's rumple.com/nugget. There's no discount code needed, and happy shopping.
In Britain as a whole, I've done 1,600 walks. I probably walked about 150 extremes.
Wow.
So extremes are like 5'9" is E1.
Okay.
I've probably done about 12 E1s. Done about... The thing is, the grade doesn't really... something, the Z4s that I've done that are not that hard, but there's hard BSs you can't do at all. No hands climbing is bonkers. And some of the hard BSs are really, really hard.
Sure. Yeah.
There's also hopping as well. If you want to get really ridiculous, you can hop route.
Yeah, that was something I'd forgotten about watching that that Guardian interview again. Yeah, you did something just hopping up the boulder with one foot, and I was like, man, I've never tried anything quite like that. So just to clarify what you just said, you said you've done more than 150 routes, no hands, 5'9" or harder.
1,500. Oh yeah, about 15. Let me think. 1,500 routes in Britain. I've done no hands on all sorts of different routes.
Okay.
And about probably 100 extremes.
Okay.
Something like that.
That's incredible. Okay, so before...
But they take variants,
Sure, yeah. Do you document these things? Is there like a guidebook for no hands climbing?
I've marked somewhere in my guides back in Sheffield. I've got the lines marked out, so I should be able to. I mean, even if I just come up with a select guide, it's called, the guidebook's called Spectacular Walks on British Rock. They've got foot swaps, they've got circulations. One of them you face outward from the rock, artless it's called at Froggatt, and you go right down on a heel on the foot, and you balance, and your hands are right to the side, and you put your foot completely split to one side onto a foothold, and then you transfer your weight along that long line until you're on that foot, and then you whirl your hands round and twist them, and that twists your body up, and you swing your foot right round up and onto the highest position I can get with my foot. It's so hard to unlock. It took me about 20 minutes to do that single move. But, yeah, that's it. That's E4, that particular one, and it's not an easy route. Full stop. Artless.
Oh, wow. Can you describe what you mean by making grip?
Well, if a motorbike drives around a vertical wall, they can make enough grip that they can stay up on the vertical.
Okay.
And the equivalent is true of all sorts of holds. If you've got a foothold and you're stood on it with one foot and you're totally still, and your heel's dropping all the time as it's raising its angle, at a certain point you'll slip. And if you then tilt that 5 degrees more or so, now if you run into that, that foothold will work for a while and then will fail.
Got it.
And if you've got 2 or 3 of those, but your run into it produces enough arc, like a wall of death, then you'll get extra grip. Sometimes if you've got the opposite of wall of death, you can end up toe hooking, but toe hooking produces rotation. So you're sort of like storing up problems for the future, because when you're twisting round, you can't see your feet, and you're also spinning off the wall. But if you get it right, it's possible that you get something else coming up that will sort that out. And also you can whirl your arms in the opposite direction. So although your lower body that's doing the gripping up, it's doing one thing, your upper body can do the opposite. Sometimes you can anti-spin, so that when you hit the foothold, it doesn't happen. The spin doesn't emerge. So the movement happens before you arrive.
Yeah.